The blue glow of Neptune filled the view screen as Commander Ethan Hayes rubbed his tired eyes. 30 days of patrol duty at the edge of the solar system had left the crew of the Earth Defense Fleet vessel Intrepid restless and bored. Ethan checked the ship's systems one more time before his shift ended. "Commander, we're picking up something strange," said Lieutenant Susan Miller from the sensor station. Her voice held an unusual edge that made Ethan sit up straight. "Define strange, Lieutenant." "Sir, there's a ship. It just appeared. No warp signature, no approach vector. It wasn't there, and then it was." Ethan moved to her station and looked at the readings. The object was unlike anything in Earth's database. It was roughly the size of a small shuttle but shaped like an elongated crystal, with pulsing blue-green light emanating from within. "Defensive posture, yellow alert," Ethan ordered. "Open communication channels." The crew moved with practiced efficiency. Weapons Officer Kevin Daniels brought defense systems online, while Communications Specialist Grace Wong opened all standard frequencies. "Unknown vessel. This is Commander Ethan Hayes of the Earth Defense Fleet vessel Intrepid *. Please identify yourself and state your purpose in this system." For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then the view screen flickered and revealed an alien being unlike any humans had encountered in their brief time among the stars. The creature had a translucent, crystalline body with 9 tentacle-like appendages. Beneath its clear outer layer, colors shifted and pulsed in patterns that seemed almost like language. 2 large, multifaceted eyes studied Ethan with unmistakable intelligence. "I am Silvax, Envoy of the Galactic Council," the creature said, its voice somehow coming through the ship's speakers despite no visible mouth. "I bring urgent matters to discuss with Earth's leadership." Ethan maintained his composure despite his racing heart. First contact protocols had been established years ago, but meeting an entirely new species was still rare enough to be momentous. "We welcome peaceful contact, Envoy Silvax. May I ask how you bypassed our detection systems? For security reasons, I need to understand your capabilities." The alien's colors shifted to deep purple. "Your detection systems function within expected parameters, Commander. My vessel operates on principles your science has not yet discovered. I apologize for any alarm caused, but the matter I bring cannot wait for formal diplomatic channels." "And what matter is that?" Ethan asked. "Your species has been noticed, Commander Hayes. Noticed by those you might call gods, though they are not. The Ascended have turned their gaze toward Earth, and they are concerned." Grace whispered from her station. "Sir, the translator might be malfunctioning." Silvax's colors pulsed. "Your translation is accurate. Humanity possesses qualities that disturb the Ascended. I have come to warn your leaders and perhaps to help." Ethan felt a chill despite the ship's regulated temperature. What qualities could possibly concern such advanced beings? When pushed beyond endurance, when broken beyond what should be survivable, humans do not simply shatter as other species do. You transform. The Ascended have seen this pattern before, and it frightens them. The bridge fell silent. Ethan exchanged glances with his officers before making his decision. "Envoy Silvax, I'm authorized to escort diplomatic representatives to Earth. If you'll follow the Intrepid *, we can arrange a meeting with the United Earth Security Council." "I accept your escort, Commander," Silvax replied. "But we must hurry. The Ascended do not merely observe. They test. They will want to see this human quality for themselves." As the Intrepid changed course for Earth with the alien vessel following, Ethan sent an encrypted message to headquarters. He chose his words carefully. Possible first-class diplomatic situation. Unknown species with advanced technology bringing warning of third-party interest in human psychology. Request full Security Council assembly. In his private quarters later, Ethan reviewed everything he knew about human psychological resilience under pressure. Nothing seemed extraordinary enough to frighten a godlike species, yet the Envoy's warning echoed in his mind. When humans break, they don't just shatter, they transform. The journey back to Earth would take 3 days at maximum safe speed. Ethan had a feeling those would be the last normal days humanity would know for a very long time. The United Earth headquarters in Geneva buzzed with tension. News of the alien Envoy had spread quickly, and security was at its highest level. The massive circular chamber of the Security Council filled with representatives from every major Earth nation and colony. Ambassador Lisa Kendrick smoothed her formal blue uniform and checked her translator one final time. As Earth's senior diplomat for extraterrestrial affairs, she would be the primary point of contact with this new alien species. "Are we certain this isn't some kind of trap?" asked General Peter Martinez, his weathered face creased with concern. Lisa shook her head. The Intrepid escorted the Envoy's vessel the entire journey. All scans show no weapons systems. Whatever Xilvax is here for, it's not an invasion. The chamber doors opened, and Commander Ethan Hayes entered, escorting the crystalline alien Envoy. The room fell silent as Xilvax glided forward, its 9 appendages barely touching the floor. "Representatives of Earth," the alien's voice came through the translation systems. "I thank you for receiving me with such haste." "We welcome peaceful contact with all species," Lisa replied, stepping forward. "Commander Hayes informed us you bring an urgent warning. We are listening." Xilvax's colors shifted to deep blues and violets. For 10 million years, the Galactic Council has observed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Some achieve interstellar travel. Fewer discover the quantum fold, but only a handful have ever drawn the attention of the Ascended. "And who are these Ascended?" asked Dr. Alan Martinez, Earth's leading genopsychologist. "They were once like you and me, physical beings. Now they exist beyond conventional space and time. They have power that, to limited beings like ourselves, appears godlike." Xilvax paused. "And they have noticed humanity." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. "What exactly have they noticed about us?" Lisa asked. "Throughout the galaxy, species respond to extreme pressure in predictable ways. When pushed beyond endurance, they break. But humans..." Xilvax's colors pulsed rapidly. "When humans break, they transform." Dr. Martinez leaned forward. "Transform how?" "Your history is filled with examples. Individuals faced with impossible situations who not only survive but emerge stronger. You call it resilience, adaptation. The Ascended call it the fracture, a dangerous evolutionary pathway they have seen only once before." "In what species?" Ethan asked. "A race that vanished from the galaxy 7 million years ago," Xilvax replied. "The same time the first Ascended appeared." The implications hit the room like a physical force. Lisa exchanged a glance with Dr. Martinez, whose scientific skepticism was at war with the enormity of what the Envoy suggested. "Are you saying these Ascended fear we might become like them?" Lisa asked carefully. "Fear is perhaps too simple. They are concerned, uncertain. The pathway you walk is unpredictable. The previous species took millions of years to achieve ascension. Humans show signs of potential transformation within a single lifetime when pushed to breaking points." "This is absurd," General Martinez interrupted. "You're talking about some kind of mystical evolution. We're scientists, not spiritualists." Dr. Martinez raised his hand. "Actually, there are documented cases throughout human history of individuals performing seemingly impossible feats under extreme duress. Our neurochemistry and stress responses are indeed unique compared to other Earth species. What do these Ascended want from us?" Lisa asked. Xilvax's colors darkened. "They wish to determine if you pose a threat. They will study you, test you, push individuals to breaking points to see if the fracture occurs. I came to warn you because the tests will not be gentle." "Are they planning to harm our people?" Ethan asked, his voice sharp. "Not intentionally, but their concept of harm differs from yours. To them, physical existence is temporary. Their tests will focus on psychological pressure, which they consider less harmful than physical damage." Lisa stood straighter. We should prepare our people, if what you're saying is true. A junior officer burst into the chamber. Ambassador, 3 unidentified objects have entered the solar system. They're heading directly for Earth. Zilvax's entire body flashed bright red. They are here. The observers have arrived. The testing begins. The 3 vessels from deep space did not land as everyone expected. Instead, they took up orbit around Earth, maintaining perfect triangular formation. Each ship glowed with a pure white light that seemed to bend the space around it. Captain Nicole Wright of the Asterisk, Defiant Asterisk, received her orders directly from United Earth Command. "You want me to host them?" she asked, staring at Admiral Joe Kelly on her view screen. "The Ascended have requested to observe human behavior up close. Your ship has been selected." "This is not optional, Captain." Nicole nodded stiffly. "Yes, sir. When do they arrive?" "They're already on their way to you." The transmission ended, and Nicole turned to her crew. "We have visitors coming. Apparently, we've been chosen to represent humanity to some very powerful beings." First Officer Ben Lewis frowned. "What exactly are these Ascended?" Before Nicole could answer, 3 points of light appeared on the bridge. The lights grew, stretching into tall, humanoid shapes that solidified into crystal vessels, each containing swirling energy of different colors. 1 gold, 1 blue, 1 deep purple. "We greet the humans of the Asterisk, Defiant Asterisk," said the gold one, its voice somehow inside Nicole's head rather than coming through her ears. "I am called Eos." "I am Helios," said the blue one. "I am Nyx," finished the purple one. Nicole stepped forward. "I am Captain Nicole Wright. Welcome aboard the Asterisk, Defiant Asterisk." Eos moved closer, the energy within its crystal shell pulsing. "We have come to understand, to observe, to learn what makes humans unique. We'll answer any questions you have," Nicole said carefully. "Questions are limited. Experience is superior," said Helios. "We will create scenarios to observe your responses." Nicole felt a chill. "What kind of scenarios?" "Cultural exchange," Nyx replied. "Nothing harmful." Meanwhile, aboard the diplomatic vessel carrying Ambassador Lisa Kendrick and Commander Ethan Hayes, Zilvax shared information from the Galactic Council archives. "You requested evidence of my claims," the crystalline alien said, its colors shifting to scholarly blue-green. "These are the only records we have of the race that vanished." Lisa and Ethan studied the holographic images. They showed beings with multiple limbs and elongated heads, but otherwise remarkably humanoid in their body structure. "The precursors," Zilvax explained. "They built a civilization spanning 3,000 star systems. Then, over the course of just 1 century, they vanished. Their cities remained intact. Their technology functioned. But the beings themselves were gone." "What happened to them?" Lisa asked. "The prevailing theory was extinction by disease or war. But look at this record of their final communications." The hologram shifted to show symbols flowing across the display. "Our translation is imperfect," Zilvax said, "but they spoke of breaking the physical shell and ascending to the higher plane. 7 million years ago, when they disappeared, the first encounters with the Ascended were recorded." Ethan's eyes widened. "Are you suggesting the precursors became the Ascended?" "The timeline matches. And now the Ascended observe humanity with great interest." "Because they think we might follow the same path," Lisa whispered. Back on the Asterisk, Defiant Asterisk, the cultural exchange had begun. The Ascended observers created increasingly stressful situations for the crew, simulations that felt utterly real. Heart rate elevated, cortisol levels rising, neural activity in the amygdala intensifying. Nyx noted clinically as engineer Sam Peters struggled through a simulation where he had to repair a failing reactor with insufficient tools. "This isn't cultural exchange," Nicole protested. "You're deliberately causing stress." "We must understand your breaking points," Eos replied calmly. "Only then can we determine if you pose a threat." A threat to what? Nickel demanded. Helios turned its crystal vessel toward her. To the natural order, to the proper path of evolution, to the stability of the cosmos itself. As days passed, the tests grew more intense. The Ascended observed with clinical detachment as crew members were pushed to their limits. Nickel noticed something disturbing. The observers paid special attention to brain scans during moments of peak stress, as if looking for specific patterns. They're hunting for something, she told her first officer late one night. Some change in our brains when we're under extreme pressure. The fracture that Silvax warned about. Ben asked. Nicole nodded grimly. And I don't think they're going to stop until they find it. Colonel Frank Patterson had never seen such a clear night sky. The twin moons of Proxima Centauri hummed low on the horizon, casting pale blue light over the human colony of New Hope. His rescue mission should have been routine. Investigate why the colony had gone silent for 3 days and restore communications. Nothing about this mission was routine anymore. Colonel, you need to see this, called Lieutenant Olivia Ross from the ridge overlooking the colony. Frank joined her and froze. The colony's protective dome was intact, but inside, chaos reigned. Buildings were damaged. Fires burned in several sectors. People ran through the streets in panic. Why didn't they call for help? Olivia whispered. Because something's blocking all signals, Frank replied, checking his communicator again. We need to get in there. The rescue team of 12 soldiers moved quickly down the slope toward the colony airlock. Inside, the scene was worse than it had appeared from a distance. The normally orderly streets were filled with overturned vehicles. Supply crates had been broken open, their contents scattered. A woman with wild eyes ran up to Frank. Are you real? Are you actually from Earth? Yes, Mom. Colonel Frank Patterson, Earth Defense Fleet. What happened here? Everything. All at once. She laughed, the sound edging toward hysteria. First, the quakes destroyed our water purification system. Then the moss, some new species no one had seen before, started growing in the food storage, contaminating everything. Then people began fighting over what was left. Frank's second-in-command, Captain Greg Hudson, approached with a colony engineer. Sir, none of this makes sense, Greg said. The engineer says the quakes weren't natural. The pattern was too regular, and the moss appeared overnight in sealed containers. Frank felt cold realization settle in his stomach. These aren't natural disasters. Someone's testing the colonists. The Ascended, Olivia whispered. 3 days later, Frank had established a secure command post and begun relief efforts. Earth had sent emergency supplies, but strangely, the Ascended had made no move to stop the rescue mission. They want us here, Frank told his officers. They want witnesses. On the 5th day, it happened. The Ascended engineered an avalanche from the mountains overlooking the colony. The eastern section of the dome cracked, causing a catastrophic pressure drop. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut, sealing off sections of the colony. Frank and his team rushed to the disaster area. A woman named Maria Diaz was trapped on the wrong side of a bulkhead, separated from her husband and children. Let me through, she screamed, pounding on the sealed door. Through the small window, she could see her family struggling as the air thinned in their section. Frank tried to override the bulkhead controls. Systems locked down. We need to get cutting equipment. There's no time. Maria cried, watching her youngest child collapse. Something changed in Maria's face. Her eyes widened, pupils dilating until they nearly filled the iris. She stepped back from the bulkhead door and raised her hands. Everyone move, she said, her voice eerily calm. The air around Maria's hands began to shimmer. Frank felt the hair on his arms stand up as energy seemed to gather around the woman. With a sound like tearing metal, the bulkhead door wrenched sideways in its frame, creating an opening. Maria stepped through and reached her family, touching each of their faces. They began to breathe normally, despite the thin air. When she looked back at Frank, her eyes still completely black, he could see she was somehow different. "I can feel them watching," she said. "The ones who did this. They wanted to see what would happen if I lost everyone I loved." Frank nodded slowly. "The Ascended. They're afraid," Maria said, her voice echoing strangely. "They're afraid of what we become when we have nothing left to lose." High above the colony, 3 crystalline vessels observed the events with clinical precision. Inside the central vessel, Eos communicated with the others. First confirmation of the fracture. Subject transformed under extreme emotional duress. Capabilities exceed predictions, noted Helios. Control over molecular bonds. Manipulation of local energy fields. Recommendation? Asked Nyx. After a pause, Eos responded. Escalate the testing. More subjects. More pressure. We must understand the full extent of the human capacity. News of the Proxima Centauri colony reached Earth within days. Footage of Maria Diaz tearing open a sealed bulkhead with her bare hands spread across every communication channel. People were shocked, frightened, and angry. In the emergency meeting of the United Earth Security Council, Dr. Alan Martinez presented his findings. "We've identified similar cases throughout human history," he explained, showing images on the large screen. A mother lifting a vehicle to save her trapped child. A soldier carrying 6 wounded comrades through gunfire without a scratch. A rescue worker who survived without air for 20 minutes. "Are you saying these were all instances of this fracture?" asked General Simon Carter. "Yes. In moments of extreme stress, certain humans briefly transcend normal limitations. But Maria Diaz is different. Her abilities haven't faded. She still has enhanced strength and can manipulate energy fields around her." Ambassador Lisa Kendrick stood up. "The Galactic Council has requested an emergency meeting. They're concerned about the Ascended's experiments." "Concerned?" General Carter scoffed. "They should be outraged. The Ascended nearly killed an entire colony." In the orbital diplomatic station, representatives from 12 alien species gathered. The atmosphere was tense as Silvax addressed the council. "The Ascended claim they are conducting necessary research to determine if humans pose a cosmic threat. They request your patience." A tentacled being rose from its gravity pool. "What threat could humans possibly pose to the Ascended?" Lisa stepped forward. "My colleague Commander Hayes and I have a theory. May we present our findings?" With permission granted, Ethan activated a holographic display showing ancient precursor ruins alongside human brain scans. "We discovered something in the Galactic Council archives," Ethan explained. The precursors' final communications mention not just ascending to a higher plane, but transforming together. Their civilization didn't ascend individually. They experienced a mass transformation event. Lisa continued, "We believe the Ascended fear humans will follow the same path, but more rapidly and unpredictably. They're not just studying us. They're trying to decide whether to eliminate us entirely." The chamber erupted in alarmed conversations. The Galactic Council had never faced such a situation. As they debated, another crisis unfolded. Captain Nicole Wright watched helplessly as the Ascended observers subjected her crew to increasingly dangerous scenarios. Engineer Sam Peters collapsed after 3 days of continuous simulated emergencies. "This has to stop," Nicole demanded, facing the crystalline vessel containing Eos. "You're killing my people." "Death is temporary. Knowledge is eternal," Eos replied. "We must understand your potential. You're not just observing anymore. You're pushing us deliberately." "Correct. Only at breaking points does the fracture occur." Nicole stepped closer. "And what happens when you push too far? What happens when all of humanity reaches its breaking point at once?" For the first time, Eos seemed uncertain. On Earth, Dr. Martinez made a disturbing discovery. "There's a pattern in these fracture events," he told the Security Council. "When Maria Diaz transformed, 27 other people around the world experienced brief episodes of enhanced abilities. When Sam Peters collapsed on the Defiant 18 more cases occurred." "What are you saying?" General Carter asked. I'm saying these events are connected. Humans don't just transform individually like the Ascended did. We're transforming as a network. The evidence was mounting. The Ascended, watching from their vessels, reached a decision. Their targets would expand beyond test subjects. They needed to see how humanity responded to existential threat. Without warning, the Ascended vessels moved to Earth's moon. Energy beams lanced down, striking the lunar colonies, not destroying them yet, but cutting off life support systems in sections, forcing evacuation. From the asterisk, defiant asterisk, Nicole watched in horror. They're testing us all now. On Earth, Lisa and Ethan made a final, startling discovery in Silvax's database. The Galactic Council didn't send Silvax to warn us out of charity, Lisa said, staring at the translated documents. They sent him hoping we would challenge the Ascended's dominance. They're using us as weapons, Ethan whispered. As lunar colonists fought for survival, Maria Diaz and other transformed humans began to sense each other across vast distances. Something was building, a connection stronger than physical space, and the Ascended, for the first time in millions of years, began to feel what might have been fear. The Ascended moved beyond targeted tests. 3 days after the lunar colony attacks, strange energy patterns appeared in Earth's atmosphere. They formed a web of glowing lines visible even in daylight, surrounding the entire planet. It's not a weapon, Dr. Martins told the Emergency Council. It's a simulation device. The Ascended are creating a controlled environment for their final test. General Carter slammed his fist on the table. A test of what? Mass response to existential threat, Lisa replied quietly. They want to see what happens when all of humanity faces extinction at once. The projections appeared an hour later. Massive asteroids, hundreds of them, seemingly on collision courses with Earth. Every detection system confirmed they were real. Scientists calculated impact times. Governments issued emergency alerts. People around the world watched the sky in terror. Commander Ethan Hayes stood on the observation deck of Orbital Platform 7, watching his home city of Boston far below. He had been recalled from his mission with Lisa to coordinate defense efforts, but there was nothing to be done. The asteroids would hit in less than an hour. No weapons could stop them all. On his view screen, he saw the panic spreading worldwide. Millions fleeing cities, others gathering in homes with loved ones to face the end together. Some praying, some fighting, some simply sitting in quiet acceptance. Ethan closed his eyes. Everyone he had ever loved was down there. His parents in their small house by the river. His sister teaching her kindergarten class. His childhood friends. All about to be erased. Something broke inside him. Not his courage or his hope. Something deeper. A barrier between what he was and what he could be. Ethan's eyes snapped open. The observation deck seemed different. He could see energy patterns in the air, in the metal of the station, in the earth below. His consciousness expanded outward, beyond his body, reaching into space. He was not alone. Around the world, as millions faced what they believed to be their final moments, similar transformations occurred. A young teacher in Kenya, a firefighter in Australia, a child in Brazil, an old woman in Japan. In the moment of breaking, they changed. Some developed telekinetic abilities, stopping falling buildings as crowds fled. Others suddenly understood complex physics, creating improvised shields against the expected impacts. Still others found themselves able to communicate instantly across vast distances, coordinating emergency responses with impossible speed. In space, aboard the Defiant Asterisk, Captain Nicole Wright felt the change sweep through her crew. Engineer Sam Peters, who had collapsed days earlier, stood up from his sickbed, eyes black and wide. "I can feel them," he said. "All of them. Breaking. Changing." Nicole felt it too, a pressure building in her mind, then releasing as her consciousness expanded. She could sense the Ascended watching from their vessels, their attention sharp with surprise. Ethan's expanded awareness touched Nicole's, then others, forming connections. His consciousness brushed against something vast and cold, the Ascended themselves. For an instant, he stood on their plane of existence, seeing reality as they saw it. And they saw him. The three primary observers, Eos, Helios, and Nex, recoiled from this unexpected contact. The simulation shattered. The asteroid projections disappeared from Earth's skies, leaving millions confused but alive. In their vessels, the Ascended communicated urgently. Unprecedented development, Eos noted. Multiple simultaneous fracture events, subjects forming a collective consciousness. This was not observed in the precursors, Helios added. The pattern is clear, Nick stated. Humans do not ascend individually. They transform as a connected entity. This presents an unacceptable risk, Eos decided. Recommend immediate intervention to halt the process. The Ascended vessels pulled back to the edge of the solar system. The glowing web around Earth faded, but the changes in humanity could not be undone. Ethan, his consciousness still expanded beyond normal human limits, sensed the Ascended sphere. They had pushed humanity to its breaking point, expecting to see individuals shatter. Instead, they had witnessed the beginning of a transformation they themselves had never achieved. Ascension not in isolation, but in connection. And for the first time in millions of years, the godlike beings knew fear. The Ascended retreated to the edge of the solar system, their crystalline vessels forming a distant, glittering ring. Earth's leaders gathered in an emergency session to deal with the aftermath of the false asteroid threat and the new reality of transformed humans. Zilvax addressed the Security Council, his colors shifting to deep purple and gold. Now you understand the full truth, the crystalline alien said. The Ascended are not gods. They are the endpoint of one evolutionary path, beings who transcended physical form and achieved near immortality. But they did so as individuals, each ascending alone. And humans are different, Lisa said. It wasn't a question. Profoundly different. When your kind transforms, what you call the fracture, you remain connected. You do not ascend to isolation as they did. Dr. Martinez showed the latest brain scans from transformed humans. The pattern is consistent across all subjects. New neural pathways forming, but also something else. Quantum entanglement between transformed individuals. They're linked across vast distances, sharing information instantly. General Carter frowned. Are they still human? More human than ever, Ethan said, entering the chamber. His eyes had returned to normal, but something about him had fundamentally changed. We don't lose ourselves. We expand. Aboard the Defiant Asterisk, Captain Nickel Wright had gathered other transformed crew members. Her consciousness still stretched beyond her physical form, sensing the Ascended watching from afar. They're debating our fate, she told her officers. I can feel their thoughts. Fragmented, distant, but clear enough. Some want to destroy us before we fully transform. Others want to study us further. Engineer Sam Peters nodded. They're afraid of what we represent, a different path they never considered. Nickel made her decision. We need to confront them directly. Show them we're not a threat unless they make us one. She requested permission to take the Defiant Asterisk to the edge of the solar system, to speak with the Ascended directly. Earth Command granted her request with reluctance. Meanwhile, on Proxima Centauri, Colonel Frank Patterson had gathered transformed colonists, including Maria Diaz. Their abilities were growing stronger daily. Maria could now manipulate matter at the molecular level. Others had developed different gifts. Some could see possible futures. Others could heal with a touch. We need to prepare, Frank told them. If the Ascended decide we're a threat, they may strike again. Maria looked at her hands, still amazed by what she could do. How do you fight beings that exist beyond physical reality? Maybe we don't fight, Frank replied. Maybe we need to show them something they've never seen before. The Ascended concluded their debate. Their decision traveled instantly across the solar system to a single representative vessel that approached Earth orbit. In the vessel, Eos communicated directly to Earth's leaders. We have observed sufficient evidence of the fracture in your species. Your evolutionary path poses a fundamental challenge to cosmic stability. Ambassador Lisa Kendrick faced the crystalline being calmly. We've done nothing aggressive toward you. Your potential is the threat, Eos replied. Your kind transforms under pressure, gaining abilities beyond your evolutionary stage. This accelerated development cannot be permitted. What exactly are you proposing? Asked General Carter. We offer a choice. Accept genetic modification to remove your capacity for the fracture or face extinction. We will not allow another connected consciousness to emerge in this galaxy. The room fell silent as the ultimatum sank in. Ethan exchanged glances with Lisa and Dr. Martinez. Why does our path frighten you so much? Ethan asked. What happened when the precursors transformed? Eos's crystal vessel pulsed with darkness. They were lost, consumed by their connection. We few who chose to ascend individually survived. Those who joined the collective vanished from existence, or evolved beyond your understanding, Lisa suggested. Eos did not respond directly. You have 7 rotations of your planet to decide. Accept our help to correct your evolutionary path, or we will be forced to eliminate the threat you pose. As the ascended representative withdrew, the transformed humans across the solar system sensed the ultimatum simultaneously. On Earth, on the Defiant Asterisk, on Proxima Centauri, they reached out to each other across the void of space, their consciousness forming a growing web of connection. Humanity faced its greatest choice, to remain as they were, or to embrace a transformation that even godlike beings feared. Earth's answer to the ascended came not from a meeting room or official channel, but from millions of voices speaking as one. No. The simple message echoed across the solar system as transformed humans joined their consciousness together. More people underwent the fracture each hour, not from trauma now, but from choice. They broke the barriers of their limited perception willingly, embracing the change. The ascended vessels moved closer to Earth, their energies building. This was the moment of greatest danger. In a small room in Geneva, Commander Ethan Hayes sat with Ambassador Lisa Kendrick, Captain Nicole Wright, Colonel Frank Patterson, and Dr. Alan Martinez. Their eyes were closed, minds connected not just with each other, but with thousands of transformed humans across the solar system. We need to reach them, Ethan said. Not fight them. Show them what we've discovered. Nicole nodded. They've been alone for 7 million years, each ascended isolated in their own perception of reality. They've forgotten what connection feels like. Maria Diaz joined their consciousness from Proxima Centauri. I can see the pattern we need to create. We don't ascend by breaking apart from each other. We transform by breaking into each other. In orbit, the ascended energy weapons powered up. Eos communicated with Helios and Nyx. They have rejected our offer. The threat must be eliminated before full transformation occurs. As the ascended prepared to strike, something unexpected happened. The consciousness of transformed humans expanded beyond Earth, beyond the solar system. Not reaching out in aggression, but in understanding. Ethan found himself once again on the same plane as the ascended, but this time he was not alone. Lisa was beside him, and Nicole, Frank, and thousands of others. Their minds formed a vast network, stronger together than any could be alone. Listen, Ethan called to the ascended. Feel what we've discovered. The collective human consciousness reached out to touch the isolated ascended minds, not forcing connection, but offering it, showing them a different path, not ascension through separation, but transcendence through unity. Eos, oldest of the ascended, hesitated. In that moment of hesitation, the human collective shared its understanding. The joy of connection, the strength of shared experience, the beauty of multiple perspectives joined in harmony. Across Earth, more humans chose transformation. Not all. Many remained unchanged, watching in awe as their transformed brothers and sisters created something new. A consciousness that existed both within individual minds and between them, preserving uniqueness while creating unity. Dr. Martinez, his own mind now part of the collective, made a final discovery. The precursors didn't vanish, he realized. They became something beyond what the Ascended could perceive, something the Ascended feared because they couldn't understand it. The Ascended weapons powered down. The collective consciousness of humanity had shown them something they had never experienced in millions of years of existence, a new way to evolve. Eos's crystalline vessel approached Earth once more. This time, not in threat, but in wonder. "We have existed for eons," the ancient being communicated, "yet you have discovered a path we never considered. Ascension not through isolation, but through connection." The human collective welcomed Eos, showing that connection did not mean loss of self but enhancement of it. Individual perspectives remained unique while joining something greater. In the small room in Geneva, Ethan opened his eyes and smiled at his companions. "They're listening now. They're beginning to understand. Will they join us?" Lisa asked. "Some will. Others need time. They've been alone for so long." On the observation deck of Orbital Platform 7, Zilvax watched Earth with shifting colors of amazement. The Galactic Council had hoped humans might challenge the Ascended's dominance. They never imagined humans would offer the Ascended a new way to exist. Humanity continued its transformation in the days that followed. Not all at once, not everyone, but enough to change the course of cosmic evolution. Those who transformed remained connected to those who didn't, creating a bridge between old and new ways of being. The Ascended withdrew their threat and began a new kind of observation, not clinical and detached, but curious and engaged. Some even attempted connection, taking their first hesitant steps toward a new form of existence. Zilvax sent a final message to the Galactic Council before departing Earth's orbit. "When humans break, they don't shatter, they transform, and in their transformation, they show us all a new path forward."